very good evening and welcome to News Tonight on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Tina Jha. Let's begin with the top headlines. Union Home Minister Amit Shah accuses opposition of playing politics over government formation in Maharashtra. Says dragging a constitutional authority into politics not healthy for a democracy. Also alludes to BJP's inability to form government, saying Shiv Sena's new terms of power sharing were unacceptable. Office of the Chief Justice of India to come under the ambit of the RTI Act. In its order, Constitution Bench of the Supreme Court says accountability under RTI will increase transparency, but balance must between privacy and freedom. Supreme Court upholds disqualification of 17 Congress JDS MLAs but gives them partial relief, allowing them to contest the December 5 Karnataka by-polls. Court rejects the decision of the Speaker to disqualify the MLAs till the end of the current assembly. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to hold bilateral meetings with presidents of Russia, China and Brazil at the 11th BRICS Summit. The Prime Minister stressed on the need to increase anti-terror cooperation between member countries, also to discuss ways to improve global economic situation. A new industrial culture and new skills needed to prepare for the fourth industrial revolution, says Vice President M K Naidu at the centenary celebrations of trade union leader and philanthropist Dattopan Thingri. Naidu says liberalization goes hand in hand with privatization and globalization. Reacting on the imposition of President's rule in Maharashtra, Home Minister Amit Shah on Wednesday said that no state in India has gotten as much time as Maharashtra for government formation. He also accused the opposition of playing politics over government formation in the state. The Home Minister said the governor invited parties only after assembly tenure had ended. But neither Shiv Sena nor the Congress NCP stake claim, and neither the BJP. Even if today any party has numbers, it can approach the governor, said Amit Shah.
देखिए, राष्ट्रपति शासन लगाने की प्रक्रिया पर जो विपक्ष की प्रतिक्रियाएं हैं, मैंने पूरी सुनी है। ये एक कोरी राजनीति है, इसके अलावा कुछ नहीं। कहीं पर भी मेरी दृष्टि से राज्यपाल महोदय ने कहीं पर भी संविधान को तोड़ने मरोड़ने का कोई प्रयास नहीं किया है। जहाँ तक ये पर्टिकुलर सवाल जो आपका है कि 8:30 तक का शाम का समय दिया था और बीच में राज्यपाल महोदय ने राष्ट्रपति शासन की अनुशंसा कैसे की, मैं आपको बता दूं कि शायद वो अपने साथी को पूछते नहीं हैं। लगभग 11:30 से 12 के बीच में एनसीपी ने पत्र लिखकर अपनी असमर्थता जता दी थी कि आज शाम 8:30 बजे तक हम सरकार नहीं बना सकते। उसके बाद में राष्ट्रपति महोदय को 8:30 बजे तक रुकने का कोई औचित्य ही नहीं है। असेंबली की नोटिफिकेशन के बाद 18 दिन तक राज्यपाल ने राह देखी और 18 दिन तक कोई भी पार्टी अथवा पार्टियां अगर उनके पास बहुमत है तो राज्यपाल को कभी भी अप्रोच कर सकते हैं। न्योता देने का तो तब समय आया जब विधानसभा की अवधि समाप्त हो गई। 9 तारीख को विधानसभा की अवधि समाप्त हो गई, विधानसभा के 5 साल समाप्त हो गए, तो राज्यपाल को एक्शन लेना होता है। तो उन्होंने हर एक पार्टी को लिखकर रिकॉर्ड के लिए पूछा। अन्यथा जब विधानसभा नोटिफाइड हो जाती है और उसकी अधिसूचना बाहर आने के बाद तुरंत ही कोई भी पार्टी अथवा पार्टियों का समूह बहुमत बनाकर राज्यपाल महोदय के पास जा सकता था। ना शिवसेना गई है, ना एनसीपी गई, ना कांग्रेस गई, ना हम बना पाए हैं, मतलब भारतीय जनता पार्टी बनाई है। तो राज्यपाल क्या करते हैं? और दूसरी बात ये कह रहे कि हमें 1 दिन दिया, हमें 2 दिन दिया, सबको समय ही दिया है भाई। अब समय है ना, आज भी अगर किसी के पास बहुमत है तो राज्यपाल महोदय का संपर्क करके वो दावा कर सकता है।
Hitting out at the Shiv Sena for the collapse of the alliance between the BJP and the Shiv Sena, Amit Shah said it's only the BJP that has suffered due to President's rule in Maharashtra.
देखिए, हम जरा भी मजाक नहीं उड़ा रहे हैं। हम एक अलायंस में चुनाव लड़े थे। हम सिंगल लार्जेस्ट पार्टी थे, मगर हम काफी सीटें नहीं लड़े थे। हमारी साथी दल लड़ा था। जब साथी दल ने कंडीशन ऐसी रखना चाहिए जो हमें स्वीकार्य नहीं है, और हम अकेले सरकार नहीं बना सकते। हमारे पास 105 सीटें हैं, तो हम क्या कर सकते हैं? देखिए, मेरी पार्टी का संस्कार नहीं है कि एक कमरे में हुई बातों को हम सार्वजनिक करें, और करना भी नहीं चाहिए। सार्वजनिक जीवन की एक गरिमा होती है। परंतु मैं इतना निश्चित मानता हूं कि राज्यपाल शासन डालने से अगर किसी का नुकसान गया है तो भारतीय जनता पार्टी का हुआ है, क्योंकि हमारी केयरटेकर गवर्नमेंट चली गई है।
And meanwhile, the Sharad Pawar-led NCP, which emerged as the third largest party in Maharashtra, in fact, it has started working on activities of new coalition government, including the Congress and the Shiv Sena. In a meeting held in Mumbai on Wednesday, a 5-member committee of the NCP leaders has been formed to decide the common minimum program with the Congress as well as the Shiv Sena. The members include Jayant Patil, Ajit Pawar, Chhagan Bhujbal, Dhananjay Munde and Nawab Malik. Shiv Sena President Uddhav Thackeray also met Congress leader Ahmed Patel on Tuesday in Mumbai. And in some other news, the Supreme Court on Wednesday upheld the 2010 Delhi High Court verdict. The apex court held that the office of the CGI comes under the ambit of the public authority. My colleague Ravindra Singh Sharan brings us this report. In a landmark judgment, the Supreme Court on Wednesday held that the Chief Justice of India is a public authority and his office comes under the Right to Information Act. A 5-judge constitution bench headed by the Chief Justice of India, Ranjan Gogoi, pronounced the verdict with a 3:2 majority. The bench reaffirmed a 2010 Delhi High Court judgment and also dismissed appeals by the Secretary General and Central Public Information Officer of the Supreme Court.
Victory with riders, and I welcome the Supreme Court judgment, and Supreme Court has given well drafted arguments.
The apex court said that the right to privacy is an important aspect, but it has to be balanced with transparency while deciding to give out information from the office of the Chief Justice. Cautioning that RTI cannot be used as a tool of surveillance, the top court in its judgment held that judicial independence has to be kept in mind while dealing with transparency. The bench pressed that only the names of judges recommended by the collegium for appointment can be disclosed, not the reasons.
Regarding members of the collegium or chief justices, etc., regarding appointment of judges. Now on that they have held that on this information the CPIO, they have remanded the matter back to the CPIO and said that the CPIO will have to, if there are third parties information involved, they will have to hear third parties, and after that they will decide whether this information is covered by privacy or not.
In 2010, the Delhi High Court had held that the office of the Chief Justice of India comes within the ambit of the RTI law, stating that judicial independence was not a judge's privilege but a responsibility cast upon him. With inputs from Ravindra Sharan, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. And the Supreme Court has upheld the disqualification of 17 Karnataka MLAs by the Speaker under the anti-defection law. It has, however, lifted the prohibition on them from contesting polls, making them free to contest the fresh by-polls on the 5th of December. Let's get you the details of the Supreme Court verdict. The Supreme Court on Wednesday upheld the decision of former Assembly Speaker K.R. Ramesh Kumar to disqualify the 17 Karnataka MLAs whose revolt led to the collapse of the JDS Congress coalition government in the state and the subsequent takeover of the B.S. Yedurappa-led BJP government. However, it quashed the Speaker's decision to bar these MLAs from contesting elections till 2023. The Supreme Court said its verdict is based on facts and circumstances of the case and does not interfere in the Speaker's power to disqualify members.
The 17 MLAs disqualification proceedings, which were challenged before the Supreme Court, had come about before the Honorable High Court today. It was listed for judgment. There are two aspects which was referred to in the judgment. One, the disqualification. Apparently, the Supreme Court has upheld the disqualification of these 17 MLAs. At the same time, the term of disqualification, which was mentioned by the Speaker as 2023, year 2023, that has been set aside, and they are permitted to contest the elections in the forthcoming by-elections itself if they so choose to do.
The three-judge bench of the Supreme Court, comprising Justices N.V. Ramanna, Sanjeev Khanna and Krishna Murari, observed that constitutional morality should never be replaced by political morality, and held that the Speaker, in exercise of his powers under the 10th schedule of the Constitution, does not have the power to either indicate the period for which a person is disqualified or to bar someone contesting elections. It said if elected in the by-polls, the disqualified MLAs can become ministers or hold public office.
As far as disqualification of MLAs is concerned, it is within the rules, within the powers of the Speaker to do it, and he has exercised his powers as per the law. But the other part of the order, which says that they are disqualified till 2023, till the end of the 15th Legislative Assembly, is ultra vires the constitutional mandate. That means that under the 10th schedule, a Speaker can only disqualify, but other provisions of the Constitution will come into force after disqualification.
Soon after, the Supreme Court paved way for the disqualified Congress-JDS legislators to contest the December 5 Assembly by-polls. Chief Minister B.S. Yedurappa and Deputy Chief Minister Ashwath Narayan CN said they will be joining the BJP on 14th November. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. And staying with news from the Supreme Court, the Apex Court on Wednesday issued notice to the Delhi government on a plea challenging the odd-even road rationing scheme in the national capital. The bench also directed the Delhi government and the Central Pollution Control Board to place before it the data of pollution in Delhi from October till 14th November this year. It also directed them to submit pollution data from 1st October to 31st December 2018. The petition, filed by a Noida-based advocate, has alleged that the Delhi government's 1st November notification on the scheme violates fundamental rights. Meanwhile, Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal said on Wednesday that the odd-even scheme may get extended if necessary and will be monitored on a day-to-day basis. The Apex Court also directed the centre to explore the feasibility of a hydrogen-based Japanese technology as a permanent solution to the air pollution problem in the Delhi NCR region and also other parts of northern India. The court directed the centre to expedite the deliberations on the issue and come before the court with its findings on 3rd December. The development comes as Delhi's air quality neared the emergency zone for the second time in a fortnight on Wednesday due to raging farm fires in neighbouring states and also unfavourable weather conditions. Schools in Delhi and adjoining districts have been advised to remain shut for the next 2 days due to the spike in pollution levels. The Environment Pollution Prevention and Control Authority has also asked industries not running on clean fuels to remain closed till Friday. Delhi Education Minister Manish Sisodia said that the government has decided to shut all the government schools and also the private schools in the national capital tomorrow and also the day after. The Supreme Court has struck down in entirety rules under the Finance Act 2017 related to composition and functioning of judicial tribunals. The Apex Court directed the government to reformulate fresh norms with respect to appointment of tribunal members. A bench headed by Chief Justice Ranjan Gogoi directed the Ministry of Law to conduct impact study and submit the report to the Apex Court. The top court also directed that appointment in tribunals should be in accordance with respective statutes. The 5-judge bench referred the matter of passing Finance Act as a money bill to a larger bench. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Wednesday arrived in Brazilian capital Brasilia to take part in the 2-day 11th BRICS summit. On the sidelines of the summit, the Prime Minister will meet Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro to discuss ways to enhance the bilateral strategic partnership. The Prime Minister is also scheduled to hold separate bilateral meetings with Russian President Vladimir Putin and also Chinese President Xi Jinping. During the talks between Prime Minister Modi and Xi Jinping, which will be held tonight, Chinese President may raise the issue of India leaving the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, the RCEP. Prime Minister Modi will also participate in the closing ceremony of BRICS Business Forum. And on Thursday, Prime Minister Modi will address 2 sessions of the BRICS Summit. The theme of the summit this year is Economic Growth for an Innovative Future. The discussions are expected to be focused on challenges and opportunities for the exercise of national sovereignty in the contemporary world. This will be followed by the BRICS plenary session, where the leaders will discuss the intra-BRICS cooperation for the economic development of BRICS societies. The BRICS leaders are also expected to consider inclusion of many other members in the new development bank. A BRICS Memorandum of Understanding between trade and investment promotion agencies is also expected to be signed. Vice President M K Naidu has said that laborers and farmers contribute to the economy not only through their hard work, but also create demand in the economy as consumers. And therefore, it is necessary to increase their purchasing power to give further fillip to inclusive development. Addressing the 100th birth anniversary celebrations of Dattopant Thengri in New Delhi on Wednesday, the Vice President called for equal distribution of resources in order to create a stable and inclusive economy. He said that liberalization, privatization, and globalization pose challenges, but also give opportunities for growth and development of the country. Besides, he also called for respecting every person who contributes to wealth creation, be it a worker, manager, or investor, as all of them have important roles to play in the production chain. Talking about the 4th Industrial Revolution, the Vice President called upon trade unions to prepare workers and farmers for this new challenge.
देश की संपन्नता उसकी संपदा से आंकी जाती है। मुद्रा तो उस संपदा को मापने का सिर्फ एक पैमाना मात्र होती है। अतः जरूरी है कि हम उस संपदा को पैदा करने वाले हर व्यक्ति का सम्मान करें। ये भी बहुत जरूरी है। वैश्विक अर्थव्यवस्था में तीव्र बदलाव आ रहा है और भी आना चाहिए। देश की अर्थव्यवस्था भी बदल रही है और भी बदलना चाहिए। The wealth has to reach all. And everybody, every section of the society must feel that they are also part of the developmental story of this country. जो अंतिम पंक्ति में बैठे उनका उत्थान पहले होना चाहिए.
Calling Dattopant Thengri as a great intellectual and karmayogi, Venkaiah Naidu lauded that he built the most powerful nationalist trade union in the country. He added that for Thengri, nationalism was about taking views of all sections as well as their interests.
नई दक्षता पर आधार अर्ध संस्कृति विकसित करने के लिए अखिल भारतीय मजदूर संघ जैसे संस्थाओं के सक्रिय सहयोग और मार्गदर्शन की आवश्यकता होगी, जो बदलती वैश्विक अर्थव्यवस्था की आवश्यकताओं तथा हमारी सामाजिक आर्थिक सच्चाइयों के बीच संतुलन बना सके। मैं अखिल भारत मजदूर संघ और भारतीय किसान संघ जैसे संगठनों से आग्रह करूंगा कि वे श्रमिकों और किसान भाइयों के नई तकनीक में प्रशिक्षित करें, सरकार के कार्यक्रमों से उन्हें परिचित कराएं, उन्हें नई अर्थव्यवस्था के लिए तैयार करें।
राष्ट्रीय स्वयंसेवक संघ के संपर्क में वो आए और स्वयंसेवक बने, आजीवन स्वयंसेवक और प्रचारक रहे और केरल में, बंगाल में संघ के कार्य के उन्होंने आगे बढ़ाने के लिए संगठन के सूचना अनुसार वहां गए और कुछ वर्ष काम किए, लेकिन वहां भी आज केरल के संदर्भ में यदि हम सोचते हैं, संगठन जिस समाज के जिन तबकों के अंदर अपने पैठ बनाए हैं, तो उन्हीं दिनों में जब केरल में कालीकत में और बाकी जगह पर उन्होंने कार्य किया, मछुआरों के बीच हेडलोडर्स, समाज के ऐसे तबके जो श्रमजीवी वर्ग कहलाता है, उनके बीच संगठन का कार्य करने का उन्होंने प्रारंभ किया।
The ambassador of Greece to India called on Vice President M K Naidu in New Delhi on Wednesday. The Vice President welcomed the ambassador and assured full support of the Government of India towards further strengthening bilateral ties between the two countries. The Vice President said that India attaches great importance to the warm ties between both countries based on historical and cultural linkages, shared values of democracy, rule of law, and common views on crucial global issues. The Governor of Mizoram, P.S. Sridharan Pillai, called on Vice President M K Naidu on Wednesday in the national capital. During the meet, several important issues were discussed between both the leaders. And Vice President M K Naidu also met Dr. Mohsen Bilal, head of the Higher Education Bureau and senior leader of the ruling party of Syria on Wednesday. The Vice President expressed hope that peace and stability will return soon to Syria and said that it is our wish to see Syria once again on the path of stability and prosperity. The Vice President also said that India is happy to have been able to support the student community of Syria through financial assistance to 400 students and scholarships to 600 students under the Study in India program. The government will fund around 250 defense startups over the next 5 years. The aim is to make India a world-class domestic defense industry that is self-reliant and, of course, less dependent on imports. Here's a report.
The Defence Ministry will earmark 500 crore rupees for innovations for defence excellence and fund around 250 defence startups. The government has called for increased and active participation of the private sector in defence manufacturing to achieve the target of making the Indian defence industry worth $26 billion by the year 2025.
When we started our first rounds of Defence India Startup Challenge last year, we had close to 600 startups which participated. And now we have chosen 44 winners. We call them as IDEX Fellows, and 44 IDEX Fellows are working on futuristic technologies and products. We have launched Defence India Startup Challenge 3 yesterday, and we hope to get good response for Disc 3 as well. And we intend to continue with this momentum. And with the Open Challenge launched recently, where we are not giving out a problem statement, we are expecting startups and MSMEs and innovators to come forward and give us ideas, products and technologies which could be used by the defence establishment.
While startups will be encouraged for smaller contracts, large procurement plans will require companies to qualify in several parameters that have been officially notified.
We are looking at a program where we are able to support these initiatives over the next 5 years and achieve the goal of hand-holding and supporting close to 250 startups and get them to at least develop 50 world-class products and technologies which could be required in defence.
Defence exports, which were negligible a few years ago, have reached 10,745 crore rupees in 2018-19. For the current financial year, the target is 15,000 crore rupees. The government had allocated 3.18 lakh crore for this year's defence budget, up from 2.98 lakh crore from the preceding year. To cut its defence spending, the government will partner with startups and small businesses in helping solve unique challenges for the armed forces. Kriti Mishra, Rajya Sabha TV.
Science and Technology Minister Harsh Vardhan has said food products made by the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research Laboratories are better than those available in the market. He said CSIR products are much more cost-effective, tastier, have better nutritional value, and of course do not have any side effects. He said this while inaugurating an exhibition on technologies in food processing developed by the CSIR in Bangalore.
मैं गारंटी के साथ कह सकता हूं कि जो कुछ भी बाज़ार में मिलता है उससे ज़्यादा कॉस्ट इफ़ेक्टिव, उससे ज़्यादा टेस्टी और उससे ज़्यादा जिसे कह सकते हैं कि हेल्थ के लिए न्यूट्रिटिव वैल्यू के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से साइड इफ़ेक्ट्स रहित जिसको कह सकते हैं फूड वो, और फिर फूड जो जिसे आजकल तो हम लोगों ने ईट राइट इंडिया मूवमेंट भी लॉन्च किया हुआ है, हर दृष्टि से ये बेहतर है.
And let's now talk about environment and climate change. The Brown to Green Report 2019 on climate transparency says that the G20 countries are together responsible for emitting 80% of the total greenhouse gases. The report has praised positive and corrective steps taken by India in order to reduce these emissions. This has limited the rise in global temperature to 1.5 degrees Celsius instead of 3 degrees Celsius. It is also noted that India is the only country among the G20 nations to promote alternative energy and try long-term efforts. The report also states that G20 countries are increasing carbon emissions to meet their energy needs, while the use of renewable energy sources is limited to only 25%. Prince of Wales Prince Charles met President Ramnath Kovind at Rashtrapati Bhavan in New Delhi on Wednesday. President Kovind congratulated Prince Charles on his election as the head of the Commonwealth and said that India considers the Commonwealth as an important group that voices the concerns of a large number of nations. He also said that India and the UK are bound by historical ties and shared values of democracy, rule of law, and respect for a multicultural society. Later, Prince Charles also visited the National War Memorial and paid tribute to the martyred soldiers. Prince Charles is on a 3-day visit to India to strengthen the Indo-Britain relationship, and this is his 10th official visit to the country. The Defence Research Development Organisation successfully carried out first nighttime arrested landing of the light combat aircraft Tejas. Tejas, which is an indigenously developed aircraft, made its landing on Tuesday evening at 6:45 p.m. at a shore-based test facility in Goa. The research agency posted a tweet along with a video showing the successful landing of LCA Tejas. The tweet also mentioned that the landing was carried out to demonstrate ease of handling and confidence achieved in arrested landing technologies. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has congratulated DRDO, Indian Navy and the HAL for the achievement. And the Indian Space Research Organisation on Wednesday released a fresh 3D photo of an impact crater on the moon's surface, captured by the Chandrayaan-2. The latest image shared by ISRO shows a 3D view of a moon crater, and the space agency has also shared initial results of topographic mapping data collected using TMC-2. So that's it from us in this bulletin. Thank you very much for your time.